What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. Thank you as ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Before we get into the video, if you could just make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you like the video, turn your notifications on as well for me, please. And also as well, if you could comment under the video for me, I would really, really appreciate it. Also as well, I've mentioned before, but just to re-mention, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm now chopping up the videos and putting them onto all of your normal streaming platforms as well. So if you don't want to watch me waffle, you can listen to me waffle. Sometimes it'll be a little bit better. I always get told that I have a voice for radio, so hopefully that will work out quite well. Today's video is... So is it a little bit different? Well, yeah, it is kind of. What I've tried to do is take a bit of a look as a whole in terms of what's the right way of saying this? I'm somebody that likes to drown myself in statistics to try and find answers or wherewithals or just little bits of information that either help me or make me feel a little bit better or just kind of put me on, just not put me at ease, but just kind of give me... It's the way that my brain copes with situations, because at the moment, I mean, we're staring down the barrel, aren't we? I think everybody can agree that's how we feel. I think we all, or the majority of us now, are of the opinion that probably Farke isn't the right man to take us forward. But what I wanted to look at was just from a statistical point of view, just some little bits and pieces that concern me slightly. And the first one that I'm going to pull up, and I don't want people to think that this is just a case of me trying to absolutely, poop on Daniel Farke from a massive height. It's something that we just need to talk about a little bit. So when you look at the Prem stats of Farke as a whole, so he's managed across everything, 73 league games. He's had 15 wins, 12 draws and 46 losses. His win percentage over the three times that he's been in the Premier League is 20.5%. And it's a statistic that we should be worried about overall, particularly with us being a newly promoted side. Just, again, this is something that I just wanted to bring up in my opinion, in something in kind of how I feel. So after the 11 games that have also been played as well, the other point or statistic to highlight is the power rankings. And after the games have been played, now... after us losing at the weekend, we've moved down 3 spots. We are now, second from bottom. So we are considered the second worst team in the league at the moment in terms of power rankings. When you look at where they see us ending up overall, we're down banging 19th position. There is there feels like there's almost an inevitability about where we're sort of sleepwalking to at this moment in time, and it's somewhere where I don't really want to think that we will go, but it's something that will potentially happen if we don't think about it. And to give you sort of further credence into that one, the predictions in terms of the final predicted points, so after the 11 games that we've played, they have us finishing on 35.94, so 36 points is what they have us finishing on. Now look, in the grand scheme of things, we don't know. That might be enough, it might not be enough. I would probably say that we want to be aiming for 38 points to potentially be safe, or to try and be safe. But you can see on there's been, at the very, very start, it went up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and then it's dropped down quite dramatically, and that's been borne out of the 3 losses over the last 4 games that we've played so far this season, which again is a slightly worrying statistic. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and it's one of the things that I've constantly gotten annoyed about, is the fact that we sit back so much, the fact that we don't press enough now, the fact that energy that we had against Newcastle, against Everton, has completely disappeared. We're very, 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 very passive. So what I wanted to do was just pull up this little table here. And again, this is the same place from OptaStats. And this is all about our high pressing arguments. So what this sort of denotes to is the teams that press the most at this moment in time versus the teams that don't press, and also as well, what it does is the percentage that ends in shots. So in terms of us, we're very, very much middle of the road. We've dropped down a little bit. So our sequences for pressing is 109. So overall start distance is about 41.1 metres out when we start to press. So we've done 68 total presses, but the interesting figure is this figure at the end, which is the percentage of that press that's turned into a shot. Ours sits at 25%. So within those times where we've pressed high up the pitch and we've done what we need to do to try and win the ball back, 1 in 4 of those presses has resulted in us creating an opportunity or creating a chance overall, which is, for me, a really, really strong reason as for why we should be pressing a hell of a lot more than what we do, and pressing like we used to in the Championship. I don't expect the same sort of results as what we got in the Championship, but overall that would be nice to see. When you look at Brighton, for example, Brighton have done 101 total presses, 19% of which have resulted in a shot. Brighton are the highest pressing team in the actual league at this moment in time in terms of numbers of presses that they've done. We know that. But that success rate there for them bores out in terms of shots that are actually created. I wish we would do this more, and for some reason we have just dropped off a huge amount, and it's massively frustrating. It's so annoying. But then when you look at it in terms of the change of things that have been going on at the system, well, not with the system so much, but just in terms of the players' confidence level, how they're looking, what they're doing, all of that kind of stuff. When you look at things like ball progression, so for us, from a ball progression point of view, our top 4 progression of the ball is Rodon, Goodmanson, Strauch, Bogle, Ampadu, Stack, Okafor, Aronson, Longstaff, Calvert-Lewin. So the top 4, if you have noticed there, are our defenders, which is quite interesting. So that's 81 ball carries, 82 ball carries, 72 ball carries, 57 ball carries throughout all of those. That's 200 plus ball carries that you've got there, nearly 300 ball carries that you've got there. Out of those, three of those changed into a shot, and 5 of those were chances created. So you can see that there's a disconnect between us carrying the ball forward and us also being able to create a chance out of that as well. So it's, again, a damning statistic of how poor our attacking prowess is at this moment in time. It's like we're massively lacking in that environment. And when you couple that in with the high press argument in terms of how it looks and the way that it works, when we press high, we do a lot better than what we're doing now. We seem to be doing this really, really sitting off and trying to tippy-tap it the way out from the back. And that's not working for us. It really, really isn't working at all. And it's a statistic that is very, very worrying for me. We're not creating enough. And, like I said, we've got creative players on the bench who aren't being played at the moment. Need to look at that. That needs to change. The thing, or the more horrific statistic, if you like, overall, is you look at the conversion rate on there. So you look at our best conversion rate players, Noah Okafor, 8 shots, of which the conversion rate for that is 25%. So he's got 2 goals out of those 8 shots. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a 5% conversion rate. Brendan Aronson is a 7% conversion rate. You've got Rodon, another 25% conversion rate, 2 goals for him so far this season. Longstaff, 10% conversion rate. So our combative midfielder and our central defender are doing better than our main number 9 striker. And I know that the number 9 striker isn't there just to just he's not there to score all of the goals and everything. He's there for people to play off of, etc., so on and so forth. But it is a very, very worrying statistic when you look at it, that the level of attacking prowess that we have just isn't there. It's the side-to-side passes. It's the moving the ball left, right, back, left, right, back, and then one of the central defenders will get squeezed to within an inch of their life, and then they end up playing the ball, a long ball, which goes to absolutely nobody. Then on the face of it, the other thing that I was thinking about, and I spent a bit of time doing this, was looking at the momentum graphs from all of the games that we've played so far this season. And there is a trend that's in there that is quite noticeable, and it's to do with the second half drop-off. There is a indication that we are not playing as well in the second half as what we are in the first half in games. So if you just look at the first 4 games so far this season, first 4 games, so we've got Everton, Arsenal, Newcastle and Fulham. If you look at the Everton game, brilliant effort throughout the entire game. If you look at the Arsenal game, we don't talk about it because we didn't have the ball, so we couldn't do anything with it. The momentum was always with Arsenal. When you look at the Newcastle game, the momentum was quite evenly matched. But, and this is where it starts, there is a notable drop-off in terms of how deep that we are going within that game. And it happens in the second half. When you look at the Fulham game, throughout the entire game, in all honesty, even though we had the lion's share of the possession, and I'm just putting up the possession stats so you can see from a point of view of possession doesn't really mean anything. If you look at the depth at which the penetration happens, or the advancement in the opposition's half, these show me that we're not advancing far enough in, which then backs up the stats with creating and conversion rates and everything that goes with it as well. When you look at the next 4 games after that, you've got Wolves, you've got Bournemouth, you've got Tottenham, and you've got West Ham. If you look at Wolves, look at the drop-off in the second half. That drop-off is unacceptable in the terms of the way that actually works. Look at Bournemouth. Bournemouth, we were massively on it. It's a bit of an outlier, but we were massively on it. We were sitting Bournemouth and pushing Bournemouth back, so we were having more success in that game. When you look at Tottenham again, it's a game that we all said that we felt that we played very well in. Slight drop-off in the second half as compared to the first half, though. So again, just showing that drop-off in the second half in terms of not being as on it as what they were in the first half. Against Burnley when you look at that momentum graph, it tells you absolutely everything that you need to know about that Burnley game. We were not progressing the ball enough. We were sitting far too deep and allowing Burnley to pretty much play the game however they wanted. And in the result, we lose the game 2-0. And then the last few games of the season, we've got West Ham, we've got Brighton, and then we've got Nottingham Forest. And this is where it's ever more apparent. So you look at the West Ham game, the second half was terrible in the West Ham game, the drop-off in that. The Brighton game, the entire game was terrible, but bar that one piece in the second half, the rest of it was absolutely horrible in terms of the performance and the way that we played. And that was a 50-50 possession. But if you were to just look at the momentum graph in that, you would think that Brighton absolutely clobbered us. But the possession says 50-50. Yeah, that's because they did. They ran over us massively. You look at the Forest game. Didn't start the game very well at all. We were actually oddly better in the second half in that one. But when you look at how much we were managing to progress the ball, it's nowhere near the same as what Forest were actually doing. In fact, Forest made their changes and all of a sudden they were able to advance the ball a hell of a lot better than what we were. So my point is that there's quite a few things that seem to be running not how they should be. And there's things that you've got to take into consideration. The fact that we are one of the slowest, if not the slowest team in terms of progressing the ball. You've got to look at Farke's statistics within the Premier League itself. You've got to look at his away games. That's horrifically bad. You've got to look at things like I said, we bury ourselves in statistics to try and make us feel a little bit better, but overall, you know, the power rankings currently have us sat in 19th. The point tally has us taking 36 points. I've shown you in terms of the numbers don't lie. When we press high, we create more chances. It's just an absolute given. When we sit off, we don't. We should be pressing high a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more. From a progression point of view, we're not using the right players to progress the ball for us to create chances. It's always the defenders that are progressing the ball. It's not the attacking players that are progressing the ball. And that's borne out in the number of goals that we've actually scored so far this season. It's a worrying time, but these little tweaks and things that need to change that could, you know, massively help us over the line. You know, moving to a 3-5-2, we've talked about it so many times, but moving to a 3-5-2 will allow us to progress the ball a hell of a lot more, will allow us to do more with it. Moving to a 3-4-3 even, so you can still have that three in midfield, you can still have, you know, what you want to do, and then further it with the attacking players as well. I still maintain this team is good enough to stay up. My issue is that do they have the mental fortitude for it? Do we have the right person at the helm for us to be able to do it? And will the board act quick enough for us to do it? Connor from One Leeds did a brilliant video yesterday covering a lot of statistics and everything. And one of the main things on that statistics was that teams that act quickly in terms of changing a manager when things go wrong, they have a far better chance of staying up. A far better chance of staying up. Because my big concern is that we're going to go into these next run of games, we're going to be sat in 19th, and then we're not an attractive position for absolutely anybody at all. That's going to do it for this one. I just wanted to put some information out there and see what people think. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But yeah, stressful times, annoying times, worrying times. We're now in an international break, which means we can sit and mull and worry about it for however many days coming forward. So, yeah. Take care of each other. Most importantly, take care of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, notifications on, comment, share, all of that kind of good stuff. And, yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.